Stop playing the game blind. You're being outmaneuvered at work, online, and in life because you're following rules that don't exist. 500 years ago, a man named Niccolò Machiavelli wrote the only rulebook that matters. Not about being evil. About winning. This is how you use his 21 rules to gain power in the modern world. This isn't motivational nonsense. This is a strategic warning. Subscribe now. This isn't for everyone. It's only for those who are ready to see the real rules of the game and start playing to win. Welcome. You are living on a battlefield. Not with swords and castles, but with likes, promotions, reputations, and social leverage. For centuries, we've been taught that success comes from being kind, transparent, and playing fair. It's a comforting lie. The uncomfortable truth was written 500 years ago by a man named Niccolò Machiavelli. His rules weren't for a fantasy world of morals, they were for the real world of power. And today, they are more relevant than ever. This isn't about being evil. This is about being effective. This is about winning. We're going to break down his 21 rules, not with historical examples, but with brutal, modern application. For your career, your business, your social life, and even your family. Let's begin. Most people live in a state of reaction. They put out fires. The powerful are the ones who smell the smoke before the first spark. Machiavelli wouldn't just do his job, he'd study the entire organizational chart. He'd know which department is getting less funding, which VP is falling out of favor, which new technology is about to make his team's skills obsolete. His question is never, "What am I working on?" but "What is coming next?" In school, it's not about the test next week. It's about anticipating the teacher's pet topics, the classmate who is disorganized and will drag down your group project, the essay question that is almost certainly going to be on the final. You mitigate these threats weeks in advance. In parenting, this is your greatest weapon. You don't wait for the meltdown in the grocery store checkout line. You see the signs of hunger and fatigue 20 minutes prior. You come armed with a snack, a small toy, a strategic distraction. You aren't a parent reacting to chaos, you are a strategist engineering peace. Anticipation is the highest form of control. Your reputation is not a reflection of you. It is a construct. A tool. In the digital age, this is your most malleable asset. Machiavelli would treat his online presence not as a social diary, but as a curated gallery of his power. Every LinkedIn post would position him as an expert. Every Instagram story would subtly showcase success and access. He would never post in anger, in vulnerability, or in doubt. His digital self would be a flawless, impenetrable brand. At work, it's not enough to do good work. You must be seen doing good work. This means CCing the right people on emails, strategically mentioning your contributions in meetings, building on the excellent data Sarah provided. What I discovered was, and publicly associating yourself with successful projects. Let the quiet, diligent worker be anonymous. You must be the name they associate with victory. In business, your company's brand is everything. It's not about having the best product, it's about being perceived as having the best product. This is achieved through storytelling, social proof, and controlling the narrative, especially in a crisis. The world rewards those who impose their reality on others. Reacting is submissive. Acting is dominant. Machiavelli would never wait for a job description to be posted. He would identify a problem in the company, solve it, and then present the solution to his boss, effectively creating his own new position and job title. In a school group project, he wouldn't ask, "What should I do?" He would immediately say, "Here's how we should break this down." I'll handle the presentation deck and coordinate the research. John, you analyze this data. Maria, you draft the written portion. He seizes the mantle of leadership before anyone else can even think to claim it. In your personal life, stop waiting for an invitation. Host the event. Start the group. Create the platform. When you are the initiator, you set the rules, the tone, and the hierarchy. You become the center of gravity. Transparency is a weakness. It gives your opponents a map to your intentions and allows them to build defenses. Machiavelli would operate with calculated ambiguity. If his goal is to become a manager, he wouldn't announce it. He would instead talk about his passion for team success and developing processes, all while quietly building alliances and demonstrating leadership, making his promotion seem like an organic, inevitable conclusion. In the corporate world, never reveal your next career move. If you're interviewing elsewhere, you do it in absolute secrecy. If you're planning to start a side business, you mention nothing until it's already profitable and you're ready to walk away. Even in parenting, you don't always show your hand. The goal is to get the child to clean their room. You don't start with the ultimate threat, no screens for a week. You start with a smaller, hidden motive, let's see how fast we can make this room look amazing. You reveal only the amount of pressure necessary to achieve compliance. Full disclosure is for fools and followers. Trust is not a moral imperative, it is a strategic liability. Every secret shared is a piece of power given away. Machiavelli would view his co-workers not as friends, but as potential assets or threats. The person you complain to about your boss is collecting evidence that can be used against you later to curry favor. In business, your trusted partner might be the first to jump ship with your client list when a better offer comes. Your confidant in a competitive industry is your primary intelligence leak. This doesn't mean living in paranoia. It means practicing radical discretion. You compartmentalize information. You give your financial advisor numbers, but not your dreams. You give your work friend industry gossip, but not your career strategy. You give your child love and boundaries, but not your adult anxieties. No single person should ever have the complete picture of your plans. Loneliness is the tax on power. Pay it willingly. People believe they are rational creatures. They are not. They are emotional animals that occasionally use logic. Machiavelli knew that to control a person, you must speak to their core emotions, fear, desire, pride, and envy. A leader doesn't just set deadlines, they instill a fear of the consequences of missing them, or a desire for the rewards of hitting them. A modern Machiavelli wouldn't just assign a task, they would frame it as a coveted opportunity for visibility, tapping into the employee's desire for status. In school, you can manipulate a rival's overconfidence by asking them for help on a topic you've already mastered, leading them to neglect their own studying while you solidify your knowledge. In parenting, this is the essence of discipline. You don't just command, you manipulate outcomes. If you finish your vegetables, you get dessert, leveraging desire. If you run into the street, you will lose your tablet for the day, leveraging fear. You are not a dictator issuing edicts, you are a psychologist engineering behavior. The hammer and the scalpel are both tools. The powerful know which one to use and when. There are times for a bold, public power play, demanding a raise with a competing offer in hand, publicly calling out a flawed plan in a meeting where you have overwhelming support, but more often, power is exercised subtly. It's the quiet word in the ear of the decision-maker before the meeting. It's the anonymous tip to HR about a rival's misconduct. It's the gentle suggestion that seeds doubt and grows into someone else's brilliant idea to cancel a project you never supported. In social settings, boldness might be asking someone out directly. Subtlety is strategically placing yourself in their orbit and letting them become attracted to you, making them feel like the initiator. Boldness creates shock and awe. Subtlety avoids blame and resistance. Master both. Why lift the rock yourself when you can get someone else to do it for you and then take the credit? This is not about theft. It's about orchestration. Machiavelli's prince didn't fight every battle, he had generals for that. His power was in directing their force. In the modern workplace, become the hub. The person who coordinates, synthesizes, and manages the work of specialists. You position yourself between the workers and the leadership. When the project succeeds, you are the one presenting the results. You become synonymous with the outcome, not the labor. In school, be the leader of the study group who compiles everyone's notes into the master guide. You've leveraged the work of 5 people to create your key to an A. In business, this is the entire model of platform companies like Uber or Airbnb. They don't own cars or homes, they leverage the assets of others for their own profit. Your goal is to build a system where other people's efforts contribute to your power. Loyalty to a failing plan is a form of stupidity. The principle is victory, the method is irrelevant. Machiavelli would have zero attachment to the way we've always done it. If the market shifts, he pivots instantly. If a new social media platform emerges, he dominates it. If his boss is fired, he immediately studies the new boss's preferences and adapts his entire personality to match. In your career, the skills that made you valuable 5 years ago may be obsolete now. The powerful are perpetual students, always learning, always ready to shed their skin and become what the new environment rewards. This applies to arguments, too. If your current tactic to persuade someone isn't working, you instantly switch from logic to emotion, from threats to flattery, from pressure to sympathy. Rigidity is a death sentence in a fluid world. Be water. Perception is everything. Never, ever let them see you sweat, panic, or doubt. Confidence, even if utterly faked, is often mistaken for competence. On a Zoom call, even if your project is burning down, you speak with unwavering certainty. We've encountered a challenge, and here is our decisive plan to overcome it. In negotiations, even if you desperately need the deal, you act as if you have other options. This psychological frame forces them to negotiate against themselves, often improving their offer to win you over. In parenting, when your child falls and you gasp and run to them in a panic, you teach them to be fearful. If you appear calm and assured, you project that the situation is under control, which actually calms them down. Your facade of strength becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Power is a currency, and overcommitment is spending it all on one bad bet. Machiavelli would never tie his fate entirely to one patron, one client, one strategy, or one ally. He always maintains reserves, of money, of options, of exit strategies. At work, this means not taking on so many projects that your performance suffers across the board. It's better to excel at a few key things than to be mediocre at everything. Learn to say no gracefully. I would love to help with that, but my focus is currently on delivering X for you, which I believe is the higher priority. In relationships, it means not sacrificing your entire identity for a partner. In investing, it means diversification. To overcommit is to become vulnerable. Always keep a reserve of power and maintain the ability to walk away. If people can predict you, they can manipulate you. Machiavelli would be intentionally unpredictable. Your boss should never be 100% sure you're happy, keeping them slightly off balance and eager to please you. Your competitors should never know your next move. In parenting, if your child knows that you always yell 3 times before giving a punishment, they learn they have 2 free passes. Unpredictability, where a first offense sometimes yields a calm but severe consequence, is far more effective. They can't game a system that is fluid. In negotiations, never show your hand. Use phrases like, "That's interesting, I'll have to give it some thought," or, "My current position is elsewhere, but you might convince me." This ambiguity forces the other side to reveal more of their own position and make concessions to win your certainty. Let's be brutally honest, the truth is often inefficient. Strategic deception is the grease that lubricates the gears of power. This isn't about grand, criminal lies. It's about the bloodless deceptions of everyday life, the white lie to avoid a pointless meeting, the strategic omission of a minor flaw in a project update, the resume that frames your experience in the most favorable light possible, the business that markets its product as game-changing because that's what marketing requires. The key is that it does not damage your core. Your ultimate goal, to be competent, to provide for your family, to build a successful business, remains honest. The path to get there requires navigating a world that does not value absolute, self-destructive honesty. Lie about your tactics, never your ultimate character. Opportunity does not knock twice. It doesn't even knock. It whispers as it races past you. Machiavelli had a preternatural sense of timing. He could spot a power vacuum from a mile away and would move to fill it before anyone else even recognized it was there. In the modern world, this means seeing a competitor's public failure not as schadenfreude, but as a chance to poach their clients or talent. It means seeing a company restructure not as chaos, but as a chance to grab those newly vacant responsibilities and titles. In your social life, it's hearing that someone is leaving a coveted apartment and contacting the landlord before the listing even goes up. In conversation, it's the moment of silence after someone makes a weak point, which is your opportunity to dismantle it with a superior argument. Hesitation is defeat. The world belongs to those who act decisively in the moment of chance. All strategy is meaningless without a foundation of genuine strength. Machiavelli's prince needed a strong army and a full treasury. Your army is your skill set. Your treasury is your financial runway. This is the unsexy, brutal work that happens behind the scenes. While others are watching Netflix, you are taking an online course. While others are spending their paycheck, you are building a war chest of savings that gives you the ultimate power, the power to walk away. The power to say no. The power to take risks. This internal strength is what makes all the other rules possible. You can afford to be unpredictable, Rule 12, because you have skills to fall back on. You can avoid overcommitting, Rule 11, because you're not desperate. You can appear strong, Rule 10, because you have genuine reserves of confidence. Work on yourself is the number one priority. It is the foundation of your empire. The public display of power is costly. It creates resentment, resistance, and makes you a target. Often, the most effective power is the power that is felt but not seen. Machiavelli would rarely want to be the CEO, he would want to be the CEO's most trusted advisor. The one who shapes every decision without ever having to face the shareholders or the press. In a school project, be the editor who rewrites the paper and shapes the narrative, not the presenter who just reads the slides. You control the message. In a family, the overt "because I said so" creates rebellion. The subtle power behind the scenes, suggesting options, controlling the schedule, managing the resources, is how you truly steer the ship. Let others have the title and the spotlight. You take the control. People are swayed by a narrative of success. No one gets to be CEO overnight. They build a story, brick by brick. Machiavelli would engineer a constant stream of small, visible victories. Volunteering for a high-visibility, low-risk task and crushing it. Solving a small but annoying problem that everyone complains about. Each small win builds your reputation as a problem solver and a go-getter. It creates an aura of momentum and competence that makes your larger ambitions seem inevitable, not arrogant. When it comes time for a promotion, people won't remember one big thing you did, they'll remember the story of your constant reliability and success. A series of small victories is a relentless propaganda campaign for your own rise. Familiarity breeds contempt. It also breeds a loss of leverage. The boss who is also your drinking buddy will find it harder to promote you or fire you effectively. Machiavelli would maintain a degree of professional mystery and distance. He wouldn't be on every Slack channel or at every happy hour. By being slightly less available, your time and attention become more valuable. Not responding to an email immediately doesn't mean you're rude, it means you're busy with important things. Having a full calendar implies high demand. In parenting, the parent who tries to be a friend loses all authority. A degree of healthy distance reinforces the power structure. You are not a peer. You are the authority figure. Mystery magnifies power. Availability diminishes it. When crisis hits, most people descend into emotion, panic, anger, blame. This is when the powerful reveal themselves. Their calmness is not a lack of concern, it is a weapon. In a meeting that has devolved into yelling, the one person who remains quiet, analytical, and speaks in a measured tone instantly commands the room. Their composure is a form of theater that projects absolute control. This composure is a self-fulfilling prophecy. It allows you to think clearly and make rational decisions while others are ruled by their amygdala. In a family crisis, the calm parent dictates the response and manages the panic of others. Your calm is not for yourself, it is a tool to control the emotional state of everyone around you. Panic is a virus. So is calm. Infect them with yours. Certainty is a cage. Ambiguity is a playground. Never give a definitive answer when a vague one will serve you better. I'll consider it is infinitely more powerful than a quick no. That's a possibility is better than a premature yes. This ambiguity keeps people guessing about your position, your intentions, and your options. It forces them to negotiate against themselves, often improving their offer to win your certainty. In relationships, being slightly unpredictable, not unreliable, keeps you interesting and stops your partner from taking you for granted. In business, never reveal your bottom line first. The party that is most certain of the other's position loses. Master the art of the non-answer. The moment of your greatest victory is the moment you are most vulnerable. Success breeds arrogance, and arrogance breeds blind spots. Machiavelli would never post a humble brag and then relax. He would see every success as making him a bigger target. He would constantly scan the horizon. Who is envious of my promotion? What new technology is on the verge of making my skill set obsolete? Is my top client looking at competitors? Is my child learning new ways to test boundaries? Complacency is the silent killer of power. Eternal vigilance is the price. You must never believe you have made it. The game never ends. The board just changes shape. The only way to survive is to never stop playing. These are not rules for a fairy tale. They are rules for the real world. You can choose to ignore them, to believe in fairness and transparency. And you will be left behind, manipulated, and managed by those who understand the true nature of power. Machiavelli wasn't cynical. He was clear-eyed. The question isn't whether this worldview is harsh. The question is, do you have the will to see the world as it is, and not as you wish it to be? The game is all around you. Decide now, Will you be the player, or the piece? You now have the blueprint. The choice is yours. You can close this video and go back to playing by the rules they invented to keep you in your place, or you can act. This knowledge is useless without application. Your first move is to ensure you never lose this advantage. Subscribe to this channel. Turn on notifications. This was just the foundation. What comes next are the advanced tactics, how to apply these rules to specific industries, how to defend against them, and how to build unshakable power in a world that wants you to stay weak.